Have you ever felt that as the years go by, life becomes more difficult? That feeling that your body no longer responds as it once did, or that the worries of the past and the fear of the future begin to weigh heavier than ever? The incredible thing is that with just 10 simple changes, you can transform your life in old age and achieve an inner peace you never thought possible. Today, I'm going to show you how letting go of certain habits can help you regain the serenity you've been longing for. Marcus Aurelius said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that determines your peace." In this video, we will explore the habits you must abandon in order to achieve tranquility, mental health, and physical peace. If you follow this advice, you'll be closer to living a full old age, free from stress and filled with purpose. Don't get distracted or skip any part, because applying even one of these methods could instantly change your life. So are you ready to start this journey toward a better life? Comment, "I'm ready to be more stoic," if you are committed to changing and living better in your later years. The first thing you must let go of is unnecessary worries and stress. Worries and stress are the true enemies of a peaceful old age. As the years go by, it's common for our minds to get trapped in past mistakes or project themselves into fears about the future. However, as Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Living constantly in the past or in the uncertainty of tomorrow only wears down our physical and mental health. Chronic stress not only drains your vital energy, but can also contribute to cardiovascular disease, hypertension, insomnia, and depression, factors that in one way or another accelerate the aging process. That's why the solution lies in learning to free your mind and live in the present. Stoic philosophy teaches us to set aside what we cannot control, to accept that some things are beyond our reach, and to focus on what we can truly manage, our attitude. The key is to focus on the present, and that's not always easy. The first practical step is to recognize the thoughts that cause you stress. When you notice your mind starting to wander toward regrets about the past or fears about the future, pause for a moment and make a conscious stop. Breathe deeply and acknowledge that this thought has no power over you, that it exists only in your mind, not in your current reality. This realization is liberating. You can try a simple mindfulness technique. Each time you feel the pressure of these thoughts, take a couple of minutes to observe your breathing, focusing only on the sensation of inhaling and exhaling, letting go of those thoughts without holding on to them. Another key Stoic strategy is keeping a journal, as Marcus Aurelius did. In this journal, you can write about your worries, but also about the things you've accomplished and the lessons you've learned. By writing, you turn those worries into concrete lessons that help you gain perspective. This practice allows you to see that the past cannot be changed, but you can learn from it and take control of your emotions and thoughts in the present. Finally, to fully integrate the Stoic teaching, you can practice active acceptance. Acknowledge that there are things beyond your control and accept that you cannot change the course of past events or control the future. However, you can control how you react to those thoughts and situations. Adopting a peaceful attitude toward what is uncontrollable brings great relief, especially when you learn to live in the present moment without wasting it on needless worries. By following these principles, you will strengthen your mental health, reduce unnecessary stress, and cultivate inner peace, a core principle of Stoic philosophy. In doing so, you won't just improve your quality of life, but you'll also be able to live a calmer and more fulfilling old age. The second thing you must let go of is negative thoughts and pessimism. Pessimism in old age can become a heavy burden that prevents you from enjoying what truly matters, the present. As we move through life, past experiences, and the inevitable physical decline can lead us to think that time is running out, that we have missed opportunities, or that we are no longer the person we once were. These negative thoughts, instead of strengthening the mind, undermine our mental health, creating an emotional fog that clouds our view of life. Old age, as Stoicism points out, should be a stage of acceptance, wisdom, and serenity. The Stoics teach us that the past cannot be changed, and holding on to it only generates unnecessary suffering. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us, "Do not grieve over what you have done or left undone. Everything you did brought you here. What matters now is how you live in the present, how you face what lies ahead." Pessimism is born from this constant projection toward what we can no longer change, or from anxiety about what we do not know will happen. But if we focus our energy on what we can control, our present and our attitude, we open the door to transforming our later years into a stage full of peace and satisfaction. Pessimism becomes a vicious cycle in which negative emotions affect the mind, and the mind, in turn, influences our physical health. For example, constant stress and negative thoughts increase levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which over time weakens our immune system and predisposes us to chronic illnesses. Instead of falling into this trap, we must learn to break the cycle of destructive thinking and redirect our minds toward the positive. How can we do this in practice? The first step is to change the internal narrative. Instead of focusing on what you cannot do or what you have lost, begin to pay attention to what you do have. Make a list of your strengths, of the experiences that have taught you something valuable, and of the achievements you have reached over the years. Gratitude is a powerful tool to counter pessimism. Every day, take a few minutes to reflect on 3 things you are grateful for, from small daily blessings to meaningful moments that have shaped your life. By focusing on the positive, you can transform your perspective and make each day feel more valuable. Another useful strategy is practicing self-compassion. Often, negative thoughts arise from fear, insecurity, or regret over past decisions. Accepting that we are all human, that we make mistakes, but that each mistake is an opportunity to learn can be freeing. The Stoics invite us to forgive ourselves, to understand that we cannot change the past, but we can learn from it and move toward the future with a more balanced mindset. Living in the present is perhaps the most direct advice Stoicism offers. Focusing on what is happening now, instead of being trapped in the what-ifs or if-onlys, allows us to savor life's small moments. Instead of lamenting what we lack, we must appreciate what we have, whether it's our health, our relationships, or simply our ability to enjoy small pleasures like a good book, a quiet walk, or a meaningful conversation. In terms of physical health, when we shift our mindset and leave pessimism behind, we are not only protecting our mental health, but also our physical well-being. The body and mind are deeply connected. The simple act of reorienting our attention toward the positive can reduce cortisol levels and increase the production of endorphins, improving our overall well-being and helping us stay more energetic and healthy. Pessimism can be a formidable obstacle, but it is possible to transform it into a force that drives us toward a fuller, healthier life. The key lies in cultivating positive thoughts and learning to live with acceptance and gratitude, as the Stoics taught. Aging does not have to be a descent into sadness. It can be a stage of growth, wisdom, and inner peace. The third thing you must let go of is resentment and hatred. Resentment and hatred are 2 emotions that over the years can become such heavy burdens that they prevent us from living fully. As we age, these feelings can cling to us tightly, forcing us to relive again and again the mistakes of the past, the betrayals, or the injustices we have suffered. What we often fail to understand is that this emotional weight does not harm those who wronged us. It consumes us, stripping us of our inner peace. As Epictetus reminds us, hatred is the poison we pour into our own soul, expecting the other person to suffer. This poison destroys our mental health, creates constant tension, and most devastatingly distances us from the deep, authentic relationships we need in old age. Resentment accumulates over time, much like a snowball that grows larger as we move through life, becoming harder and harder to stop. The key to freeing ourselves from it lies in understanding that we cannot change the past, but we can change our attitude toward it. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, teach that the first step toward inner peace is to let go of what no longer has power over us. If we remain tied to the emotions of the past, we will miss the beauty of the present and of what truly matters. Every time we allow hatred or resentment to take up space in our minds, we are wearing ourselves down mentally and physically. These feelings trigger a constant rise in stress levels, directly harming our health by increasing cortisol and weakening our immune system. In fact, hatred not only damages our psyche, but also manifests in our bodies, affecting heart health, circulation, and overall vitality. This is why letting go of resentment is essential, not only for mental health, but also for longevity. Forgiveness, in Stoic philosophy, does not mean justifying what was done to us. It means freeing ourselves from the emotional poison that prevents us from living with serenity. Forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves, an act of strength, not weakness. When we choose to forgive, we release the weight of expectations and the pain of what happened. Forgiveness gives us the power to move forward, to be freer, and to be more at peace with who we are. This process begins when we are able to acknowledge and accept our pain. It is not about ignoring it, but about facing it with courage, seeing it as a lesson, an experience that, although difficult, has shaped who we are today. Forgiveness also allows us to redirect our energy toward what truly matters, living fully, appreciating the present, and reconnecting with the people we love. When we let go of resentment, we break the chains of the past and open the way to a lighter life, rich in genuine connections. We can begin to enjoy what truly matters, inner peace, the wisdom that comes with age, and deep relationships with others. Best of all, it is a liberating process that not only heals us emotionally, but also rejuvenates us spiritually. Letting go of resentment is one of the wisest and most powerful decisions you can make to live a calmer, fuller, and happier old age. At its core, Stoicism invites us to abandon destructive emotions and focus our energy on what is within our control, our inner peace, our serenity, our ability to love, and to live in the present moment without burdens. By freeing ourselves from resentment, we renew our vital energy, make space for gratitude and acceptance, and most importantly, find peace. If you take this path of forgiveness and release, you will open the doors to a much lighter life, free from the chains of the past. It is a way of caring for yourself, of healing from the inside out, and of offering your body and mind the peace they need to age with dignity and happiness. There is nothing more powerful than the emotional freedom that comes from letting go of what no longer serves you, from releasing resentment and opening yourself to forgiveness. The fourth thing you must let go of is material ambitions. In youth, it is natural for our goals to be tied to acquiring material possessions, achieving professional success, and building financial growth. These ambitions drive us forward, pushing us to work tirelessly toward a future filled with opportunities and tangible accomplishments. However, as we enter old age, those same material ambitions can turn into obstacles. What once seemed like the path to happiness and success, over time becomes a heavy burden that drains our energy and distracts us from what truly matters. Time, which in our youth felt like an endless source of possibilities, now reminds us in old age that the only thing we truly possess is the present. Material ambitions can still motivate us, but as we grow older, We must recognize that true happiness and inner peace do not lie in what we own. They lie in how we relate to what we already have. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest voices, said, "Do not keep seeking outside yourself what already resides within you. The world is inside you, and true well-being is found in your mind and in your attitude." These words are a powerful reminder that when we seek more material possessions, we are often trying to fill a void that cannot be filled from the outside. It's important to understand that as we progress through life, our needs and priorities change. The value of material wealth fades in comparison to the value of personal relationships, knowledge, and inner well-being. It is easy to fall into the trap of constant dissatisfaction, comparing ourselves to what others have or to what we think we need in order to be happy. But Stoicism teaches us to let go of that craving for more. True wealth is not measured by what we possess, but by what we are able to appreciate in the present moment. Letting go of material ambitions in old age does not mean giving up the comfort of a good life. Rather, it means freeing ourselves from the obsession with acquiring more. By doing so, we create space to focus on what truly matters: meaningful relationships, the wisdom gained over the years, and the experiences shared with loved ones. This is the kind of wealth that grows with time and offers deep peace, a serenity that does not depend on the ups and downs of the material world. With each passing day, appreciating what we have becomes an act of gratitude. Instead of constantly searching for more, we begin to recognize what is already enough: the love of family, the simple moments of happiness, the time spent together. This shift in focus transforms our perspective, allowing us to live with less anxiety and greater fulfillment. Releasing ourselves from the grip of material ambition restores our mental peace, something essential in old age, and helps us live in harmony with our truest needs, the ones money cannot buy. By placing less emphasis on material things, we can concentrate on what truly matters: knowledge, love, experience, and above all, inner peace. Stoic thought invites us to reflect on what truly defines a life well lived. It is not the things we have that make us happy, but our ability to enjoy what we possess and live in harmony with it. Instead of endlessly chasing more, letting go of material ambitions in old age becomes an act of liberation, a way to find happiness in what we have already achieved and in what truly brings us peace. The fifth thing you must let go of is the desire to control everything. As we grow older, it's natural for our desire to have control over our lives and the situations around us to intensify. Control gives us a sense of security, especially when we begin to face the unique challenges of old age. In confronting life's inevitable uncertainties, control becomes an illusion of stability, a way of coping with the unpredictable. We want everything to match our expectations. We want our loved ones' decisions to align with what we believe is best. We want the future to be more predictable, and we want to maintain control over our health and our circumstances. However, this desire to control everything around us can quickly turn into a constant source of anxiety, stress, and frustration. In the end, we realize that life, by its very nature, is unpredictable, and many factors lie beyond our influence. In the context of aging, trying to control every aspect of life is not only exhausting, but also ineffective. Instead of bringing us peace, it traps us in a cycle of continuous stress, because the truth is that absolute control is impossible. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations, life is what happens while we are busy making other plans. This powerful reflection urges us to think about our tendency to focus too much on the future or on what we cannot change, while failing to appreciate what is truly happening here and now. Letting go of this impulse to control does not mean being indifferent or allowing everything to fall apart around us. On the contrary, it means accepting that some things are simply beyond our reach, and that we do not need to cling to the idea that everything must follow a specific plan for our lives to have meaning or value. Stoicism teaches us that, while it is entirely natural to want things to go according to our plans, true inner peace comes only when we are able to align ourselves with life's unpredictable nature. Rather than fighting constantly against the current, the Stoics encourage us to accept events as they come, with serenity. This acceptance is not passivity or resignation. Instead, it is an active way of recognizing our limitations and allowing ourselves to act with greater freedom, without the constant burden of trying to anticipate and control every possible outcome. Letting go of the desire to control does not mean abandoning our responsibilities or drifting aimlessly through life. The true essence of this renunciation lies in freeing ourselves from the constant pressure of needing everything to conform exactly to our vision. Accepting what we cannot control is liberating, because in doing so we can live more lightly and without the weight of anxiety over what cannot be changed. This mental peace translates into greater adaptability, allowing us to enjoy what life offers us in the present, rather than being trapped in worry over what might happen. This release from control also has a deeply positive impact on our relationships. In old age, family and social interactions can be heavily strained by our tendency to influence the decisions of those we love. It's understandable to want to protect and guide them, but if we don't learn to respect their choices and allow them to live their own lives, we risk creating conflict and emotional distance. Letting go of control makes room for trust, a fundamental element of healthy, lasting relationships. That trust grows when, instead of trying to manage or direct others' lives, we support them in their own paths. We realize that we do not need to control people to show them our love and care. Rather, we must trust their ability to make their own decisions. Stoicism teaches that the only thing truly within our control is our attitude and our response to events. We can choose how to react to the situations we face, but we cannot always change the outcomes or the decisions of others. This approach not only frees us from the pressure of trying to control everything, but it also helps us build a more harmonious and respectful environment. By accepting what we cannot control, we foster healthier, deeper relationships in which people feel supported and respected in their autonomy. Letting go of control not only improves our quality of life, but also strengthens our social connections, filling them with mutual respect and understanding. We learn that true freedom is not found in forcing everything to meet our expectations, but in allowing ourselves to be flexible and open to the natural flow of events. When we release the need to control, we free ourselves from the constant tension of trying to fit everything into the mold we have designed, and we discover that the best path is simply to let life flow. This flexibility grants us the inner peace needed to face old age with greater tranquility, without the burden of unrealistic expectations. Ultimately, letting go of the desire to control means embracing life as it is, with its surprises and changes, and that is what truly brings us peace and serenity. If this is bringing you value, I want you to show it with a statement in the comments. Something like, "I am a Stoic and I know my strength," or "My Stoicism has no limits. I am ready to live my old age to the fullest." The important thing is to engage and start applying what you've learned. The sixth thing you must let go of is living in the past. It's easy to fall into the trap of constantly reliving past mistakes, regrets, or missed opportunities. The human mind tends to cling to what can no longer be changed, whether it's poor decisions, relationships that didn't turn out as we hoped, or goals left unfulfilled. This repetitive thinking not only drains our mental energy, but also clouds our present, pulling us into an endless cycle of what could have been. The problem is that while we hold on to the past, we stop living in the moment right in front of us, missing what truly matters, the here and now. As we age, it's common for our minds to dwell on what we can no longer control. We look back with nostalgia or lament over what might have been, but this attachment to the past not only builds a mental barrier that keeps us from embracing the opportunities the present offers, it also places us in a constant state of anxiety and frustration. The more time we spend regretting what has already happened, the further we move away from what is truly within our control, our response to the present. This mindset erodes our emotional health and, in turn, our physical health, since negative emotions tied to what cannot be changed fuel stress that robs us of our inner peace. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offers us a powerful lesson. We cannot change what has already happened, but we can change how we respond to it. This teaching invites us to transform our attitude toward memories, past decisions, and the emotions tied to them. It's not about denying the existence of mistakes or avoiding the lessons they carry. It's about accepting that what happened cannot be undone. Instead of holding on to guilt or regret, we must view each experience, whether good or bad, as a lesson that has shaped us and brought us to this moment. By accepting the past as part of our personal story, we free ourselves from its emotional weight and create mental space for peace to grow. Letting go of living in the past also means shifting our focus to what we can truly control, the present. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations, "The past is unchangeable. What happened, happened. What we must do is accept it, learn from it, and act in the present." This perspective urges us to release ourselves from the emotional prison of what can't be changed, redirecting our energy into consciously living in the now. This shift not only improves our mental and emotional health, but also prepares us to create a more positive future, one free from the chains of regret. Letting go of the past does not mean forgetting what we've learned. It means using those lessons as tools for making wiser decisions today. The more anchored we are in the present, the more we enjoy what's around us and the opportunities yet to come. Far from being a time to mourn what is lost, old age can be a stage for renewing our perspective on life. It offers the chance to strengthen existing relationships, discover new purposes, and continue growing as individuals. This mindset transforms old age into a time of fulfillment, because we see that there is always something valuable to live for, regardless of the paths we've already walked. Releasing the past is not about erasing it. It's about freeing our minds from unnecessary emotional weight. This freedom allows us to walk toward the future with lightness, unanchored from what can no longer be changed. By letting go, we give ourselves the chance to fully enjoy the present and prepare for what lies ahead. This shift not only improves our quality of life, but also brings us closer to the inner peace we seek. True happiness, as the Stoics teach, doesn't live in what has passed or what might have been. It lives in how we choose to experience the present with awareness and gratitude. In short, old age should be a time to honor the lessons of the past without becoming trapped in it. By letting go of living in the past, we free our minds from unnecessary weight and open ourselves to the opportunities still before us. This is the path to a fuller, more satisfying and, above all, more peaceful old age. Life goes on, and with each new day comes the chance to live in the present. The seventh thing you must let go of is unhealthy habits. As we grow older, our bodies become more vulnerable to the effects of time, and habits that might have once been tolerable begin to take a serious toll. An unbalanced diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the use of alcohol and tobacco become silent enemies that, over the years, can severely damage our physical and mental health. These habits not only reduce vitality, but also accelerate the aging process and contribute to chronic illnesses that can greatly diminish quality of life. Stoicism reminds us of the importance of caring for our bodies. Seneca said, Health is not merely the absence of disease, but an inner harmony we must preserve. This harmony is achieved through conscious choices that promote physical, emotional, and mental well-being. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control external factors, we can control how we respond to them, especially when it comes to taking care of the body, which they considered the temple of the soul. Abandoning unhealthy habits is not only a practical necessity, but also a responsibility, essential for maintaining both our inner peace and overall well-being. Letting go of poor nutrition, diets high in processed foods, sugars, and saturated fats, is key to avoiding illnesses like diabetes, cardiovascular problems, and hypertension. Old age should not be a period of inevitable decline, but a time of renewal and wellness. A proper diet that includes fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and nutrient-rich foods not only enhances physical health, but also improves mental clarity. Regular exercise, even if gentle, is crucial to maintaining mobility, muscle strength, and mental health, whereas a sedentary lifestyle is one of the greatest threats to well-being in later years. Similarly, alcohol and tobacco, often underestimated or treated as harmless social habits, have devastating effects on the body. These vices damage the skin, vital organs, and contribute to chronic illnesses such as liver disease, cancer, and respiratory problems. Giving them up is an act of self-love that improves physical health while also strengthening the mind, freeing it from the mental and emotional toll they impose. It's important to remember that every daily choice we make about what we eat and how we treat our bodies has a direct impact on how we will feel as we age. Healthy habits give us the vitality, energy, and positivity needed to face the changes that come with age. Letting go of harmful habits not only extends our lifespan, but also enhances its quality, allowing us to enjoy the present with more energy and peace. Ultimately, changing our habits is a Stoic act of self-care, a conscious assumption of responsibility for our physical and mental well-being. Abandoning unhealthy patterns means living in harmony with the nature of our bodies, ensuring that even as the years pass, our vitality and overall wellness remain strong. The eighth thing you must let go of is excessive perfectionism. In youth, perfectionism can serve as a driving force, pushing us to set goals, improve our skills, and achieve excellence. However, as we grow older, that same relentless pursuit of perfection can become a heavy emotional and mental burden, stealing our peace. The desire for everything to be flawless, for ourselves to meet impossible standards, only leads to stress and frustration, keeping us from enjoying the process and the present moment. The Stoics teach us that perfection is an illusion. Seneca said, "It is not the lack of perfection that makes us happy, but the acceptance of our imperfect nature." Accepting that mistakes are a natural part of life frees us from the constant pressure to be unfailingly successful, polished, and perfect. True fulfillment in old age does not come from meeting unattainable expectations, but from embracing our imperfections as part of life's journey. This shift in perspective is liberating and essential for preserving mental health. Perfectionism also harms our relationships. High expectations, both of ourselves and of others, can cause conflict, tension, and misunderstanding. Those close to us may feel pressured or even rejected for not meeting these lofty standards. The constant demand for perfection can create an emotional barrier that prevents genuine connection. Letting go of perfectionism allows us to be more compassionate with ourselves and with others, accepting weaknesses and flaws as part of our shared humanity. Freeing ourselves from perfectionism grants us emotional freedom, reduces stress, and enhances our ability to appreciate what truly matters. Authentic human connection, small daily joys, and the satisfaction of having done our best without demanding flawlessness. Living without the pressure of external expectations allows us to flow with life and find peace in the ordinary moments. In short, excessive perfectionism is a trap. It harms our emotional health, damages relationships, and robs us of the pleasure of living fully. Accepting our imperfections and abandoning the endless pursuit of perfection gives us new freedom, fosters deeper connections, and allows us to enjoy each moment as it is, without the crushing weight of impossible standards. Stoicism invites us to embrace our humanity and live with serenity, accepting ourselves, with all our strengths and flaws alike. If this content has brought you value, I want you to show it with a statement in the comments, something like, "I am a stoic being, master of my strength," or "My stoicism knows no boundaries. I am ready to live my old age with wisdom and inner peace." The essential thing is to commit and put into practice what you've learned, integrating it fully into your life. The ninth thing you must let go of is social isolation. As we age, it's common to face life changes that naturally shrink our social circle. The loss of loved ones, physical limitations, and reduced mobility can make social interactions less frequent. However, this isolation not only affects our emotional health, but also has direct consequences on our physical well-being. Old age should not be a stage of loneliness, but rather one of meaningful connections that nourish both mind and spirit. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us, "Loneliness is not the absence of company, but the absence of true relationship." This is key because what truly matters is the quality of our relationships, not the number of people around us. Growing older with a strong support network is essential to maintaining inner peace and emotional vitality. Prolonged social isolation increases the risk of depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. Regular interactions with friends and family act as a powerful antidote to these negative effects. These connections also have a direct impact on cognitive health. Conversations, shared experiences, and group activities stimulate the brain and may help prevent age-related cognitive decline. As Seneca suggested, a life without friends is an empty life. The company of others is what enriches life and strengthens the soul. Sharing moments with others not only strengthens our social identity, but also gives meaning and purpose to our existence. As we age, meaningful relationships allow us to feel part of something greater than ourselves, which brings deeper satisfaction and happiness. Interaction with others also keeps the mind active and helps us maintain a positive attitude toward life's challenges. Letting go of social isolation and actively seeking ways to connect with friends, family, and even new acquaintances is one of the wisest decisions we can make in later life. Taking part in activities, joining interest groups, or simply maintaining daily conversations are effective ways to combat loneliness and ensure a richer, more fulfilling life. Maintaining these connections also protects physical health. When surrounded by a support network, our health needs are better met and our stress levels decrease. In conclusion, social isolation is a silent enemy we must avoid in old age. Human relationships, meaningful interactions, and a sense of community are key to enjoying a life full of purpose and well-being. By following Stoic teachings, we can cultivate these relationships with compassion, allowing them to fill us with peace, love, and satisfaction in this stage of life. The 10th thing you must let go of is the lack of flexibility. As we age, we face numerous changes in life. Some of them challenging, others entirely unexpected. Flexibility, whether physical, mental, or social, is essential to navigate these changes successfully. A lack of it can become a serious obstacle. Resisting the new realities of old age, whether on a physical, emotional, or social level, often leads to a constant sense of frustration, insecurity, and discomfort. This inner resistance to change can make us more vulnerable, not only to the physical effects of aging, but also to the emotional stress that comes with facing the unknown. Stoicism teaches that mental flexibility is one of the pillars of inner peace. Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you that disturbs you, but how you respond to it. This truth is critical, because accepting life's uncertainty is what allows us to face old age with resilience. Flexibility does not mean weakness in the face of change. It means having the ability to adjust, learn from circumstances, and use the wisdom gained over the years to make choices that serve us well. The inability to adapt to what life brings only fuels inner tension, keeping us trapped in a cycle of resistance and frustration. Lack of flexibility also affects our relationships. As we grow older, our social circles shift. People who were once close may no longer be present, or their circumstances may change, requiring us to adapt to new dynamics. Clinging rigidly to how things used to be can leave us feeling isolated or misunderstood. Social flexibility, as Stoicism encourages, is the capacity to adapt to new ways of connecting, to nurture meaningful relationships, and to accept that the form those connections take may evolve over time. This adaptability is essential for maintaining friendships and bonds that can sustain us in later years. Beyond mental and social adaptability, physical flexibility plays a vital role in keeping an active and healthy life. Loss of mobility and reduced physical flexibility are inevitable aspects of aging, but that does not mean we should surrender to stiffness without effort. Regular physical activity, even simple practices like walking, stretching, or gentle yoga, helps preserve agility and vitality. From the Stoic point of view, caring for the body is fundamental to preserving balance and peace of mind. Physical rigidity limits not only our options, but also our experiences, which is why we should take every step possible to maintain flexibility and support healthy aging. One of the keys to aging well is developing a flexible mindset that allows us to accept and appreciate each stage of life. Instead of fighting the inevitable, we can learn to embrace the opportunities that old age offers. As Seneca expressed, we are but a small part of nature, and what happens to us is simply part of the natural course of the world. Accepting life's ever-changing nature is a crucial step toward serenity. By adopting this flexible mindset, we open ourselves to continued growth, learning, and contribution, no matter our age. Letting go of rigidity not only helps us adapt to life's changes, but also opens the door to new experiences we might otherwise reject. Mental and emotional flexibility allows us to see change not as a threat, but as an opportunity to evolve and enrich our lives. Adapting to changes in health, mobility, and relationships enables us to live more fully and meaningfully. Without clinging to a past we cannot recover or resisting an uncertain future. In conclusion, the lack of flexibility in old age can be one of the main sources of frustration and stress. Adopting a more flexible mindset allows us not only to adapt to the physical and emotional changes that aging brings, but also to remain active, positive, and engaged with life. Flexibility helps us live with more balance, serenity, and fulfillment, and enables us to embrace the blessings of each new stage without resisting the inevitable passage of time. As the Stoics teach us, to be flexible is to be wise, and only those who adapt to life's circumstances achieve lasting peace. Today, we have taken an important step on this journey toward a fuller, calmer, and more purposeful old age. Applying the principles of Stoicism not only improves our quality of life, but also gives us the inner strength to face challenges with courage, without being prisoners of what we can no longer change. As Marcus Aurelius said, happiness depends on us, And if there is one thing we have learned today, it is that the power to change our lives lies in our own hands, through our decisions and our attitude. Now, I want you to take a moment to reflect. What burdens from the past are you willing to release in order to live with more lightness and peace? The key is to let go, to live fully in the present with everything you have. There is no greater strength than the inner serenity that comes from accepting what is, learning from what was, and acting wisely in the now. Because believe me, you can handle this and so much more. You have the strength to transform yourself. If this is helping you change or become more stoic, I want you to show it with a statement in the comments. Something like, "I am a stoic person and I know my strength," or "My stoicism has no limits. I am ready to live my old age to the fullest." The important thing is to engage and begin applying what you've learned. If this content has brought you value, I invite you to subscribe and keep exploring more tools and insights that will help you live a life full of purpose and well-being. Each video is another step on this path, and I don't want you to miss anything. You are closer to your best self than you think. Are you ready to move forward and continue this journey? I'll be waiting for you tomorrow in the next video.